I've always created the next level. It was never visible before I got there. There's a certain kind of person that statement will make immediate sense to. The artist entrepreneur, the gritty empath, conscious leaders, and the coaches who support them. The ones who find themselves standing at an edge that doesn't have a name yet, feeling both the pull and the weight of knowing that whatever comes next, you're the one who has to bring it into existence. You're not broken, you're not in crisis, far from it. From the outside, most of what you've built looks solid, maybe even impressive, but internally, there's a different conversation happening. One the world isn't privy to. One that doesn't get resolved by another framework, strategy, or person telling you what the next move should be. Because at a certain level, the game changes. It stops being about finding answers and it becomes about becoming the kind of person who can move without them. That's the playground we spend our time in. Shades of gray with a sprinkle of pressure. At the Prestige, we build new worlds with people like you. You already know there's no clean roadmap for your next big move. Never has been. We are in uncharted territory together, where tinkering reigns and the evolution of the person creating the work starts to matter more than the work itself. Most people will try to solve this from the outside, so they'll look for clarity, they'll look for answers, for something they can apply and then move on. And if you're anything like us, you feel that disconnect immediately and you scroll past it. It's not entirely wrong, it fails to tackle the part of your next ascent that actually determines whether something works or not. And there is a profound reason for that. There's a pattern that shows up with people at this level, and it's subtle enough that you can operate for years without naming it. And it's strong enough that it quietly shapes how you show up in the moments that matter most. Before I go further, there's a short quiz below this video. It takes only a few minutes and it will reveal this pattern clearly, exactly how you organize under pressure. Most people have felt it, but haven't named it, let alone learned to control it. If you've ever had the experience of being sharp, decisive, almost inevitable in one moment and then slightly off, second guessing or working harder than you know you should in another, we can tell you why. You'll recognize yourself in that immediately, and that's where our real conversation begins, because here's what gets missed. Calm, centered, well-prepared people lose when it matters. Not in obvious ways. It rarely looks like failure from the outside, but in small distortions. When the dynamic in a room shifts, when a conversation becomes heated, when timing compresses and attention scatters, and there's no extra space to think your way through it. Your pattern shows up when you're coherent just as much as when you stumble, but it's the latter one that costs you, you know? The former is a discussion of range, expansion into new identities at will. Spend enough time in the arena and you'll notice something. Different people don't just think differently under pressure. They see the world differently and they organize differently. One person narrows and becomes cuttingly precise. Another expands and starts sensing fluctuating dynamics. Someone else locks down, holds form, and becomes imposing. Another softens, adapts, jokes, sometimes to the point of losing their own position entirely. Each of those responses is intelligent. Each of those works until it doesn't. We call that your somatic skin, the way your system has learned to create coherence when things get real. This started young through a single act of genius before you had the language to explain it. Your body took countless signals, structures, emotions, environmental feedback, and sensations, and in one moment or in a series of close proximity moments, it found a shape and it declared, This is safe. This is how we face pressure. The warrior, the sage, the shapeshifter, the asset. Most people can feel which one they lean into, even without naming it. It's the place where things tend to go well, where you've built competence, where others probably trust you. It's also the place where your ceiling lives. Because the same pattern that makes you effective in one context, it quietly limits you in another. It narrows the range of responses you have access to. It shapes what you notice, what you ignore, how you interpret pressure, how quickly you move, what you hold on to, what you let go of. And over time, it starts to just feel like this is just how I am, instead of this is one way I've learned to operate. Once you see it clearly, something shifts. It becomes something that you can't unsee. You start to recognize the moment before the pattern fully takes over. You'll notice the familiar tightening or the drift or the overreach. You begin to understand why certain situations feel like they require more effort than they should, and why others seem to open up almost effortlessly. If you haven't taken the quiz yet, you're killing me. Just do it. It will map that pattern for you in a way that most people never get access to. It'll become the lens through which you see yourself, in the best, and perhaps more importantly, in the worst of ways. Between my co-founder and coach in crime, Tom, and me, we've spent decades studying, mapping, and coaching these incredible psychosomatic traits, the 4 somatic skins, with high performers under real pressure. Martial arts, where the body tells the truth before the mind is ready to acknowledge it. Business, where timing and clarity have real consequences. Rooms full of capable people, where the difference between impact and noise is often a matter of a few seconds or a slight shift in how something is delivered. Yes, the skins are cool as hell, and we obsess over them and we coach conscious leaders within the prestige, not only to master their personal skin, but to command all 4. I'm trying really hard not to curse when I say it. It's freaking awesome work, and you deserve to benefit from it. People don't plateau because they run out of ideas. They plateau because they're running the same pattern in slightly more sophisticated ways, over and over again. And while they learn new strategies or tactics, their bodies haven't learned how to apply them in a way that feels coherent, if not same, new baseline. There's a point where more awareness isn't enough. Seeing the pattern is one thing. Being able to shift it in real time when it matters is something else entirely. I'm talking about real somatic range, the ability to hold structure without becoming rigid, to adapt without dissolving, to focus without collapsing your field of awareness, to feel without losing direction. That kind of range doesn't come from thinking differently. It comes from training the system that's unconsciously organizing the response in the first place. That's the work. That's our work. Inside the Prestige, our Applied Somatics Academy, we train the underlying capacity to meet pressure as a true formidable, and the regulators that grant you access on demand to the incredible range that we've been discussing. If you're curious, please start with a quiz. Even without stepping in further, you need to know your somatic skin. And if you recognize yourself in it, not just the strengths, but the places where things subtly break down, then you'll have a sense of what it would mean to actually train range beyond that. That is the gate to your next level, and you don't need to see it to create it.